recording is live. And welcome to episode 4. Brock, is it 4 or 5?
4, I believe.
Episode 4 of the Total Pile podcast. I'm Tyler Courtney and my partner, Brock Davis.
Hello, hello.
We're here to talk about just the week of Pokemon. How was your weekend? How was your week? What's new?
So Friday night I played at Nash Cards, and I won my 6th and final challenge of the year, so I no longer have to play in stupid challenges.
Nice, congrats.
And then I went out and hung out with a bunch of friends on Saturday. And was out till 4 a.m.
Nice.
and decided, and I had a cup on Sunday that I said, nope, I'm gonna sleep. So
Come on, bro. You need the
I
points.
decided,
Come on.
bro, I have to make it to the finals to get points at cups.
Yeah, that's
Like,
correct. I understand
just-
the struggle. I get it. I'm not in position myself, but I understand why that would be frustrating.
It's not frustrating because like I've had a very good season so far, and I'm blessed to have that, to be in the position that I am. But like, it's just rough.
No, I feel that. And that leads into kind of my weekend. I played in a cup on Sunday with Duns and Dragons. I went 2-3. Wasn't great, but that's okay. I lost a tough one to Ancient Box. I didn't set up well. I then beat Maridon, Regieleki VMAX. I lost a mid off to Dialga. I then beat the Serena EX deck, and then I lost to Lugia. But this is why I understand where you're coming from with the cup thing, and this is my frustration with cups. Like it's more myself, right? Because I will never blame a deck for whatever, right? It's just kind of my style. But like I played Roaring Moon to Dunsparce without trekking shoes, which I've been playing a lot lately. It's instead of 3 shoes, you play extra nest ball, extra ultra ball, or it's not extra nest ball, extra Dunsparce, extra ultra ball, and the Mawile, the special eater Mawile. And the deck overall feels great online and in person. But then like a different person who had a completely different run that doesn't affect how you played or what you drew at all in any certain way plays, the top 8 or in Moon to Dunsparce list and gets top 4 at the cup makes cut. I'm not sure how they did in cut. I didn't stay that long. But that's my frustration with cups. It's like it's really like we talk about how in regionals like it really comes down to your set run and how it works. And I feel like we forget that when it comes a lot to cups and challenges. Like it really is kind of a luck of the draw. Like there was 2 Dialga of 22 people. I just happened to play one of them, right? Like the odds are still really weird. The runs are still really weird. And we're playing 5-6 rounds for 22 people.
I mean, they are, but at the same time, it's like one of those things where, like, so the beginning of the year, I was struggling for cups. Like, I went to like 8 cups, and I topped like 1. And like, you remember back in the day when you were living here, it's like if I didn't top 8 a cup, that was like weird.
Yeah.
So like, I was struggling to start the year, and I just remember Kenny pulling me aside and said, "Hey, pick a deck. Like, just play one. Like, just."
Yeah.
And the more and more I've played like this season, and the more and more I've matured like as a Pokemon player, to where I realize like if you're gonna play in cups, and especially like if you're as like known of a person like I am in Memphis, like everyone knows me, everyone knows like when they play against me, like it's gonna be a good match. Like, so when I am such known, you just pick a deck and you say, "Hey, beat me." Like you know what I'm playing, now beat me. And I feel like that's a real big thing that like a lot of people don't realize, especially when they first start playing Pokemon and they come from other card games. It's like other card games you can switch decks back and forth, but Pokemon, you especially in cups, um, when you're traveling to a bunch of cups, like if you just play the same deck over and over, you'll eventually hit the right meta to where you ought to win as long as you play well.
Yeah, volume is key, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like
So like
I've played in 3 cups this year. I got second in one of them, and I burned out in the other 2. And that's
it's
partially
like
because my job's fault, right? But like it's just
exactly.
part of the same thing, right? The volume and meta variance
It's
balances out
just
over time. Like it's just the
so
way it
like
is.
last format I played Gardevoir to like 7 cups, and I topped all of them, but like there was runs. So we had a 6 round cup, and I went 402 in Swiss. And then I saw what was in top 8, and I said, well, I lose in top 8 no matter what, because there was 2 Iron Valiants and 3 Rapid Striker Shifus, and I was playing Gardevoir. I was like,
Yeah,
well, I'm not winning this one, boys.
it's just it's the way it
I
goes.
was like, it's just not it. Like, yeah, I made cut, but I was like, well, okay, that sucks. But then there was another cup that I went to, and it was like 3 Charizards in top 4 because it was just a top 4 cut, and I was like, bro, this is free.
Yeah,
And I won that one. And then there was one where it was like a Tina, a Zard, and a Control. And at the time, I was playing an Iono or a Turo and a Palpad, and that just beat Snorlax Control in Guardy.
yeah.
If you knew how to actually play it, and you didn't start one of the blue or one of the silver boys.
And the fact that it's only 5 or 6 rounds, depending on where or how many players there
Yeah.
are, is a big thing, right? Because like we are comparing cups and challenges to 2,000, 3,000 person regionals where you're playing 16 rounds and then finding a winner,
Yeah.
right? It's much easier for Dialga V Star to beat Charizard EX in a best of one
That's
30-minute
boring.
game to make the winning in for top cut than it is for Dialga V Star to win a best of 3 in round 7
Out
of
of
day 1.
15,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, whatever round you want to pick, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so like don't be and this is why I tell myself a lot, don't be frustrated that your cups and challenges aren't the same results as what you're watching online because it's a completely different circumstances. I wouldn't say it's a completely different meta, right? Every meta is
No.
different, right? People are watching the same results, everyone has limitless stuff like that. But everyone has their own take on formats and cards and how they view things. I know people who love Ancient Box. I know people who hate Ancient Box. Like it's the same where at every single tournament, just keep playing, keep having fun. We're here to play a card game and have a good time, and
Well,
so
it's
that's the
also
big thing.
like you're wherever you're playing is like so weird because like here in Memphis, nobody wants to play like BDIF. Like except now everybody's playing Charizard because it's easier to like pick up. It's not easy to play
Sure.
like at a high level, but like last format, Gardevoir was pretty much the best deck in the room. Like there were metas where it wasn't the best like for a given regional, but like if someone showed up with Gardevoir last format, at the end of the format, you knew they were good. So at
Yeah.
regionals, it was like 15%, and then converted to 20% in day 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only Gardevoir player in like the room at like almost every League Cup I went to.
Yeah. It's
So
so yeah.
it's weird because like it's like you can't like because everybody's like teching against Gardevoir, but then you don't see any, so everybody drops a text, and then you just run through the room because they're like, "Oh, Gardevoir's not gonna be here."
Yeah, it's tough in those scenarios for sure. Um, I think we spent too long on League Cups, but anyway, just remember the basis of League Cups and challenges, right? Like they're to have fun and play locally and increase prizing, so it's not just the same leagues every day, right? Like that's what challenges are for. I know most challenges and cups I go to, it may be $2 or $3 extra, but you also get more packs of prizing because there's more people, there's more cups and players and stuff like that. So just big thing with that is like I used to have that problem a lot. I was like, oh hey, he's playing Roaring Moon to Dunsparce, I am playing Roaring Moon to Dunsparce. Why did he make top 4 and why did I not? Like, you can't do that to yourself. And that was kind of where I was getting at with that. And yeah, the major wins from this weekend, though. I got my Van Gogh mat in for my birthday. That was sick. That's coming up here in May.
Which one did you get?
I got the Corviknight. Oh god, what's the baby version of Corviknight? It's Rookie D, and what's the middle one? Corvisquire.
Corvisquire.
I think it is, dude. To be honest, I'm googling right now.
Are you talking about the one where it's like the painting style?
Yeah, the painting style ones.
Oh, that's so pretty. I have the deck box of that.
Yeah, it's the Corviknight one, but I can't figure out what Corviknight evolves from or Corviknight.
Corvisquire.
Is it Corvisquire?
I'm 90%.
Okay, whatever. But it has Honchkrow and Murkrow on it as well, and that they're flying over a field and whatnot. That's my favorite one. I feel like the Snorlax Pikachu one hanging out in a bedroom.
It's the most popular one.
It's the most popular one, but it seems forced, right? Like, I
mean, it's Snorlax.
I agree. I get why they made it. It makes tons of money. It's a great mat. I love it. But like, this feels like an actual type of Van Gogh or something painting wise, which is why it attracts me to it. And I also have, I don't know if you remember this one. If you look at my camera on stream, I have the Great Wave painting mat as well.
Okay.
And they added the Lugia and the Surfing Pikachu to that Japanese wave painting, the famous one with the Gyarados in it.
Yeah. So I have something similar. I have something similar to that. Like there was a local convention that we had that had something similar to that, and I got it. It was like on a big poster.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, I love the artistic looking mats. And then I also got a special delivery from my friend Drew, who he went to EUIC, and he brought me back the Armor Rouge and Surluge mat, the EUIC not player exclusive, but like the one you get from the Pokemon Center. And those are my favorite Scarlet, and those are my favorite Scarlet and Violet Pokemon. Like, who doesn't want like lightsabers for hands or cannons for hands, right?
Is that why you're
sick.
Wearing the Star Wars shirt?
No, it's Power Rangers. R.I.P. Tommy.
Or Power Rangers.
I mean, I would love to be a Power Ranger too. It'd be sick. Yeah, man. So overall, successful weekend. It was very cool. And I think I'm playing and stuff this weekend again. I don't know. Yeah, we're winging it. I'm not even close to invite. But the main story about talking about invites and cups and whatnot, we both got into NAIC.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so did you get in Wave 1 Wave 2?
Wave 1.
Wave 1. I also got into Wave 1. Did you do mobile or computer?
I was on my computer. I sat at the zero screen for like a minute, like most people. I'm like, okay, why isn't the tree loading? And then Kenny texted us and said, hey, log out and log back in. So I did that, and then I got in pretty much immediately.
So I did the same thing, but I had 2 tabs of the same website open. So I left one at 0, and then I logged out and logged back in on the second one of the exact same screen because I knew I didn't have to be on RK9 yet until I got
in.
Right, exactly, until I got in. And so I had one where I could log out and log back in over and over again, and one that I refreshed over and over again. And so, is that cheating? I don't care. I'm not sure, but whatever. I got in. But I also had a bunch of friends get in on mobile. They said it was really easy to get on mobile. I know it was very stressful, and some people didn't know about the logging out, logging back in thing. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I thought there was a thing that said you had to sign in when registration opened. That was the big thing that stood out to me when you registered. So I think I did it correctly in that sense. But it was definitely worded weird in all the emails.
That's the thing, is like it was worded super weird where I'm like, what?
Yeah,
okay.
It was. But after all the NAIC nonsense, I brought up definitely a great point on because I think the biggest one is Andrew Estrada didn't make it in, and he won the very first regionals of this year. So he won Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh. And he could not get registered into
he's on a wait list.
He's on a wait list, but he still technically is not registered for the tournament. He's waiting.
Currently he is not registered, yes.
And so that brings up the discussion from Twitter of, do we need to expand the reserved players list for these NAICs? Right now it's top 16 of the previous quarter. So that would be from January to, I guess, November or whatever it was, right? Technically.
Yeah. So I had two of my good friends, Sean and Devin, did not get in to the tournament, and they got put on the wait list. And we had like a very lengthy discussion. And Devin comes from Yu-Gi-Oh, and Sean was like a pro circuit Magic player for a while. So like we had all three perspectives. We all played each game like competitively in its own sense.
Yeah.
So basically, the cut that discussion short. Basically, I feel like it should be like the top 10% of play point players. Basically, the play points is like how many tournaments you've attended over the season. You get like 1 point for just you show up like 1 for just going to league. You get 5 for a regional. You get I don't know how many points for internationals, but like it's like increments of like play point values depending on what tournament. Yeah, it scales. So it makes sense. Like myself, I've been to like 7 regionals this year. I've attended like 20 cups, like 15 challenges, and I go to like 3 leagues pretty regularly. Like it would make sense for someone like myself, who I have been playing very consistently all year, to have like some kind of semi-reserved spot in the queue.
Right.
Compared to like even like someone like yourself, like you said, you've only been to like 3 cups this year. It's like,
yeah,
not that I deserve anything more than you do, but like I am one of the people like growing and like active in the community. Like I think you should reward the players that are the most active in your community. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's like, I guess my perspective is like, where's the cutoff line? I get what you're saying.
I think it's like top 10% of play points.
That's what you're thinking, but like, how many people is that? And we don't have that number right in front of us. But this is where I'm kind of getting at with it. I think you expand the reserve players, based on results, not necessarily play points. Like for example, the play point argument. The problem I have with it is, one, like I can't quit my job, or and maybe this is just generally speaking. Like I work like a Wednesday through a Saturday schedule. And like 90% of cups and challenges across the world are going to be on Saturdays. I'm not going to take off every Saturday of work just to play more cups and challenges. That makes no sense. I will every now and then, absolutely, maybe. But and take that to everybody else who does it that way. But then also, I think it eliminates the people, and I guess, and this is coming from me from a small town America scenario in the middle of nowhere. But like my closest league was 30 minutes away if my parents let me go. And they'd have to drive me there and come pick me back up in 3 or 4 hours. So those people who have the one local league that used to be in their library in their small town, and that's gone because it's not a card shop anymore, that like it feels super bad if they can only travel to 3 or 4 events a year. They pick NAIC, and then half the event is reserved to people above a certain amount of X play points, right? So that's kind of my view on the play point thing. I think the overall best way to do it, reserving spots wise, is not make it a quarter or unquarter system. So right now stipends are based on the quarters prior to the IC. So if you do well enough prior to EUIC, they'll fly you to EUIC based on the region. Yeah. Same thing with LAIC, same with NAIC. I think what you do is you make it a top 4 per regional has a reserve spot at every IC, because the cup grinders and all that stuff, that it's the same thing in that same argument. But like with the people who finish top 4, top 8, top 16, top 32, like that's so much harder to do than any cup or challenge, in my opinion. And so that's the question for me, is like, where do you make that cutoff line?
Yeah, but because that doesn't solve any of the issues.
I mean, but it does though, because like in this scenario, if like, because like saying in the scenario, say Tor didn't have a stipend from being a part of EUIC and doing well and whatnot, and he didn't make it in, that's a total feels bad moment. But if the top 4 from every tournament of the season got a reserve spot to an IC, It solves the issue from it being approved right now. So like right now, Rahul Reddy, who was very vocal on Twitter, got top 4 at Perth Regionals. He should have gotten a reserve spot at NAIC. Same thing with Andrew Estrada now. He won an entire regional, was auto-qualified to the World Championships. Can't get into NAIC. He should have already been reserved based on performance.
Okay, but like if you want to do that argument, like so Andrew Estrada's only attended like 2 regionals all year.
Correct.
So like, he's only entered 2 tournaments throughout the year. So why are you like my perspective is like why are you rewarding someone who's only attended 2 of your events?
Because it's the NAIC. It's the biggest tournament in the world besides Worlds itself. Like it's you're wanting the best players who've performed at the highest level to be there. That's what makes it a prestigious event thing. Right? Because like comparing
but then like you're comparing like Perth Regionals. Perth Regionals is like the size of a League Cup here in Tennessee.
I mean, it's 100. It was like what?
500 130 players. No, it was like 130.
I thought that was Indonesia.
Okay, there was all I know, but like that. So if you're saying top 4 from that, then like top 4 is like 130 person regional. It's like you can use Perth or any of these small regionals, and it's like.
I agree. I get it. I understand. There's got to be a cutoff point somewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the hard part to figure out, right? Because like you can either do it based on play points, but that cuts out small town people or small communities that are trying to grow. Because like even my local community only has 2 leagues.
Well, what I'm saying is
Saturday,
like
Sunday.
You like so I'll just like so I looked up like my play points. I'm in the top 1% of play point players, and I am ranked 363.
Right. So then, and then that for example though, now I'm only allowed in 2,500 people into NAIC.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like so, but like it's the last tournament of the year. Why aren't you rewarding the players that have played all year?
Yeah, I get it.
I think you can do both. I think you can like. Because, okay, 95% of the people that top 4 the event, they're going to be in the top 5% of play points because they're chasing those stipends. Not every single one.
Yeah. I get it.
Almost all of them.
Yeah, exactly. The big one that comes to mind is Estrada.
Estrada and the kid and the dude that won the California
player. Yeah, the Lugia player. That's what I was
going to say too. Both the finalists from that tournament.
Yeah. And so, like, in that same scenario, though, if I'm Andrew Estrada, or even just myself, right? I can only this will be my second big event, right? This is my second regional or higher level of tournament. I can't afford to go to 4 more regionals to make the event status, right?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is like you only have like.
But like, even if I won an extra regional, say I win Pittsburgh, like Andrew, I wouldn't go to more regionals because I won a regional. Like my invites long. I could do less now.
I think there's a combo but in that same logic, if you're thinking in like that type of atmosphere, then why are you going to NAIC? Your invite's locked. Why are you going?
Because
in that same logic. That's what I'm saying.
I know. I hate that one though. It's like, oh, hey, you already have your World's invite. Why play? Well,
no. I'm not in that department. Like,
but because we know people who are though.
Yes, I know a lot of people. Like, there was a dude at Orlando that was, like, groaning mad because, like, essentially due to me having late, I could not get points at 5-3-1, so I gave my opponent the win and walked off. And he was groaning. He was like, man, why couldn't I get him? Well, it's like, well, if you were acting like how you were acting to me, I wouldn't have given it to you. I would have tied and dropped.
Yeah. That's the big thing for me, too. It's just, like, it's already a hard enough job to figure out this stipend system. And like I even remember the outrage from when they lowered or they increased the stipend numbers that Australia got.
No, they split Australia.
They split Australia a few years ago.
It used to be a top 8. Yes, it used to be a top 8.
And now it's a top
4.
Right.
Because it broke up the brain trust of Australia.
Correct. And so like I remember that outrage clear. Like why why is 4 people a massive difference? You know what I mean?
The difference is because they gave it to South Africa.
Correct. They gave it to the African continent.
Base of like 100.
Right. And so But even to that same point extended, right? I understand they've been pretty set on this number of like, I guess it's 16 for NA, 8 for LATAM, 16 for Europe, and 8 for Australia, or 4 for Australia, 4 for Africa, and then Indonesia,
They get
Taiwan,
2, don't they?
Thailand. Well, they're ran by a different company, so they're
They're
qualified
Pokemon
stage.
Japan,
Yeah,
I believe.
they're Pokemon Championships. So I think they're ran by actual Pokemon company. I might be wrong in saying that, but they have a completely different structure. So like that 16, 8, 8, 16, 4 and 4, so that 40 people number ish, whatever that is, per region, I guess is the best word in this scenario. I feel like that just needs to expand more. I don't know how you expand it, but not even make it stipend. Just make it a regional qualification. You can still pay top 16 stipends all you want. That's fine. I think you do have to do it based off championship points, though, and not just play points.
I mean, so if you want to go based off of like where does that drop off? Because like it's the same concept. It's like so I'm top 4% in the world in championship points, and I'm at 394.
Yeah, I think it's still a very small cut because you gotta let anyone who wants to do their first event in. I think we're talking top 100, talking top 200, because then you still have 3,000 spots. And then we're going based off the math of RK9. There's 3,180 players registered for NAIC. I think your cutoff line's 180 people, counting the 16 with stipends. That's my honest answer. I think the 200 is the max you can allow in based on play points or championship points or whoever you want.
I think there has to be something where you reward the players that have been playing all year.
Yeah, but I agree. There's still a cutoff though somewhere. It could be 3%.
Well,
it could be 1%, 2%, 3%. But even at that point, then where do we say we're stopping for the 4th%? Right? Because what's the difference between you at 316 and the guy in 500th? You have it still pulled up?
I can.
Yeah. What's because you're at 316 is what you said,
I'm
right?
at 394.
You're at 394. What's the points difference between you and the 500?
I think it's like 10 points.
Yeah, there we go. Where's the line cut off? That's the biggest thing for me. Is we're talking about 10 championship points or 10 play points?
It's 40 points.
40 play points or 40 championship points?
Championship.
And then how many play points?
So I am ranked.
Technical difficulty pause. Pokemon's website's not great. All the time.
So I am ranked 363 on
championship
and I have 70 play points.
And what's 500th? You're at 70 and you're mid 330s. And then 500 has what?
500. It's basically a tie at 65 play points. So 5 play points.
He's 5 play points off of you,
which is 1 regional.
And or 5 local leagues.
Yes. But you don't get points for every league you attend. That's another.
It's once a week per league.
No, it's not. It's once a month per league.
Oh, well, either way. Okay, so he played. All right. Well, then even worse for that scenario then.
Yes.
So, like, I still, based off just that math alone, that means the difference between you and the guy in, like, I'm not going to let 500 people in just based off play points. I think that's crazy. Now, what we do want to talk about, I think this is good news. I think this is good news for seniors and juniors. I do. I think the way they did I don't know if you saw it, the early registration based off of play points for seniors and juniors. I like it for them because the community is smaller and it allows their event to grow. You could make that same argument about masters and seniors, but with us hitting a cap, I don't think you can do it. If we can fit 5,000 people in New Orleans, sure, save every registration you want based off play points. But because we're capping at such a low number, I don't think you can have reserve spots like that deep.
I was about to say, the biggest thing that we're like, I think we're talking about nickels and pennies here.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, like, Pokemon needs to realize how big this game is. Like,
yeah, because how much do you have
so
your
the thing
Arcanine
is
pulled up?
Pokemon. Yeah, my Arcanine. No.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to see how many people are in Indy.
I can find that out. Give me one
because
second.
I think Indy has more players than NAIC.
No.
Yeah, I think it does.
Indy has 2,993. NAIC has 3,180.
So it's 200 off, roughly.
So yeah, but basically, Pokemon but also we have a whole wait list of like 3,000 players.
Yeah,
that they're trying to make room for. But the thing is, at the end of the day, is like we have 3,000 players, and then we have like I saw the other day, it's like 3,000 players on a wait list. That is 6,000 players that want to play Pokemon.
Yeah, because like I took the same vein too, right? Like even in my own opinion, like I had the choice for my family to either go to Indy or go to NAIC. Like you're gonna go to NAIC every time if you're limited amount of tournaments to travel to per year. You want to go to the biggest one in North America.
Well, it's like next year. It's like if people are gonna have the same argument. It's because like San Francisco's Worlds next year is like, are you gonna go to Indy wherever, or you're gonna go to World or NAIC wherever it is? I assume it's gonna be like another city.
Yeah,
well, are you gonna go to Worlds in San Francisco?
Well, the thing with Worlds is like you have to qualify for it. Right, like
but you can still go. Well, you can still play in the. You have a regional. There's the Open, which is essentially a regional.
Bro, come on now. I get what you're saying, but like, there's no way I'm traveling that just to play in an Open for next season. But like, isn't a prize? Because like, there's no money for that prizing though. It's just an Open tournament, and then you get play point or you get championship points. There's no money involved for that tournament.
So you're talking about like, but you're a competitive player. Like I'm talking about for the majority of the players, like 90% of the Pokemon players don't care that they're at table 700 at X4 still playing Pokemon.
Sure.
Like 90% of the player, or maybe not 90.
I think
at least 70% of the player base is just there to hang out. So in that same argument, like, you're going to have people that aren't going to NAIC next year just to go because they're going to go to Worlds because it's their one event they can go to for the year.
I think the thing is, I get what you're saying now about that. They have to communicate the Open early and often enough. Yes. And this happened in Japan, but they canceled the Open. Yes. And so then people's entire trips are just gone.
Well, so the reason they canceled the Open in Japan is due to
I think it was a staffing thing.
Well, it was staffing and it was translators. Because in Japan, all the people that was actually running the event all spoke Japanese. But most of your
Open players
high up most of your high up judges are Americans. Like they paid Clay's way to go there. You remember Clay Mitchell?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They paid his way. They paid like 7 or 8 like high level English judges that did not speak Japanese to run their tournament.
Yeah.
So it's like you had to have one translator for each of them, which is probably not that as hard as I may think it is. But like you have to have like so many translators and so many bodies there.
It is tough. And then that would be like, and like, I guess like it's different though because you get to pay for American judges to come, and then the Open, especially in the Japan Worlds, would have to be non-Japan exclusive, which would feel terrible to say out loud because it's a different structure.
Format.
No. I meant like player base because they don't get championship points anyway unless they're gonna compete at regionals. And so, like making it a non-exclusive Japan event in Japan,
I think you would have to run 2.
Yeah, and like whatever happened. Yeah, it does.
That seems bad.
Try doing that in San Francisco.
I didn't think about that.
Would it be different?
No,
I think it wouldn't because I don't think NA
because like that's what I'm saying is like it's NA based, so I don't think it'd be that big a deal. Or they might just be doing away with the Open. They might not have it.
Oh, that'd be terrible if there's no Open.
Like
I think Open's just so cool.
Making about Worlds. Well, they're
Yeah,
trying to turn Pokemon into an esport. Like that's what they've been attempting to do for a while now.
yeah, I think it has, to be honest. I mean, like, obviously not the
It's
card game
close.
side, but like Unite is an esport. Like, that's
Well, Unite and
crazy.
VGC. I
Yeah,
think
they're
VGC I saw the other day got like 15,000 people at the Orlando stream.
yeah.
I think
Hmm.
some of that was due to Wolfie being in the finals
And
again,
he won, right?
and he
Like,
won. Yeah.
but yeah, I think
Uh,
it comes down to that too, because he's got a million or so
he has
YouTube
like 9
subscribers.
regional. Yeah, he has like 1.4 million. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's nuts.
But he's super entertaining, like even as a TCG
And
player.
the thing that he does too, the animated stuff, like the tournament, like the
Yes.
animated tournament recaps. Whoever he's paying to do that is great. But we're getting off topic. But either way, like I think the NAIC thing is very
Frustrating.
upsetting, frustrating, whatever word you want to use. Where we are super blessed to be getting in and can't wait to go. And hopefully we'll get to do a pod down there. I've got my Airbnb booked now. I think you've got yours booked. Um,
I'm I'm I have it booked, but I may be staying with some other people depending on how Indy goes.
yeah, whoever does whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
but my wife and sister are coming with me. They want to see New Orleans because they're like, I guess,
Nice.
big Vampire Diaries originals people.
Okay.
Something about New Orleans and TV.
All right
And
then.
that was part of the bargaining ship to go, was that they got to come with me. So we're driving down Wednesday. I'm assuming you're flying. Or I guess you're in Memphis,
No,
so
I'm
you might drive. Yeah,
driving.
you're
Yeah,
driving.
it's like 5 hours.
Oh, then yeah, I would drive too.
I think we're taking. There's like 40 of us.
There's a good amount of Omaha people too going and whatnot. So it'll be a great time. I can't wait to be there. And that's where we're gonna segue here into Twilight Masquerade. Like, it's gonna be a brand new format. I hate this. You might love this, Brock. I feel like this should be at least one regional or 1 week of locals before we just make all these cards legal. But they're just throwing us in the deep end. Twilight Masquerade is legal for NAIC. Same
So
way
I'm one of
Temporal
the very
Forces.
few people. I'm on one of the very few people is like the 6 month formats I actually love.
No,
Um,
get out of here.
because they're so solved. I don't have to think about what people are playing. It's like everyone's been playing the same deck. So like I can meta game and just realize, okay, I
No,
played this deck, I beat the whole entire room.
that's fine. I'm cool with that side of it. I love that point of view. But give me a week to practice before we're throwing to a 3,000 person event. And the people are like, oh, you could test. Yeah, I can. But I'm also a father of two. I won't get to test 4 days a week at night. Like, I get what you're saying. Testing's cool. But there's something different about just going to your local league and playing in a 4 round event where you're going to place yourself based on record. You're a little bit more locked into the moment than just testing, in my opinion. It happens every
It
single
depends.
time.
It depends who you're testing with. That's the
Correct. I
biggest thing.
agree, but I'm also a goofball and I know when to be serious as well. Like, there's always an on and off switch. And
Mhm.
like there's an in between on everything, right? If you want to take it more seriously, there's a way to take it more seriously. If you want to take a small break and then get distracted and you don't test for an hour out of your 3 hour window, well, that happens. And like,
Yeah.
long story short, I think they should get rid of the 2 week rule, because a lot of leagues and locals are scared to not have that rule. I don't need it to be, hey, cards are released, cards are legal. I don't need that. I understand why they don't do that, but make it a week, dude. Like, let me play the week prior to
Well,
NAIC at a local event.
so for me, it's not as big of a deal. Is one because I'm sponsored. I kind of get handed all my cards. But in Memphis, it's not an issue for really anyone because we have like 9 leagues that all have pre-releases. So we all have the cards in advance. It's
Yeah,
another one of those things where it's like I'm blessed to be in Memphis because we have so many leagues, but like someone like yourself, it's like you have what, one store, maybe two?
there's 2 in Lincoln and then a bunch in Omaha, but I can't attend
Okay.
all these pre-release. And I also think, and this is my opinion, I think pre-releases are a waste of money. Just
I
total
also
scam.
I judge pre-releases and I
I
just get handed a ton of packs.
I never said this on stream. I've done this for a while now. I maybe done it for a month or two, but I don't open packs anymore. Period. I just
I don't
don't.
either.
I don't open a single pack. I have a box in my closet full of packs. Just of stuff I haven't opened.
I say that.
I've cracked twice.
I
twice.
open loose packs.
No, I have loose packs just in a box.
Packs. No, I don't have. I have loose play packs. I have like 300 play packs in my closet.
When you go to a regional or any event, they'll have old rocket sets, old jungle sets, even hard gold soul silver packs there for like $60 a piece. As soon as I saw that, I never opened another pack again. I've cracked twice though. I have. I am a weak man, and sometimes I'm imperfect. I've opened like 20 or 30 packs because I was bored, and I was like, oh, I could open some packs right now. I got nothing. No Radiant Zards, stamps, no nothing. I just don't.
Oh, you're talking about your play stuff?
I have a bunch of everything. I have like Temporal Forces, Obsidian Flames, just random loose packs in a box. And so
I have a bunch of sealed boxes.
Yeah, pre-releases are scams. But like to that same point though, like our first pre-releases here are like May 12th, I think. Right?
Ours are next week.
Some are next week because Masquerade comes out the 29th, right?
Yeah.
Of May, not today. 29th of May. Like there's so many pre-releases at volume now in most areas. People are gonna have cards available. Let me play with them on release date or the week after release date. The 2-week rule is what kills me.
To have it on release. I think it makes sense to have it on release because, like, if you're a highly competitive player such as myself, you have the cards.
Even if you're not, even if you're not a competitive person, there's the odds of you going to a pre-release and potentially hitting a Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. You would love to play that the next week after your pre-release, but then you're told, oh, I can't play that until June 6th. Like, that just seems bad. It just seems bad.
I agree.
But let's just go into it. Let's go into some of the main featured cards here. We're going to kind of just spray around here. I'm also not a huge fan of tier lists because then that holds me to something like an opinion. That's just my thing. But we're going to go just in order. Exactly, bro. But we're just going to go in order off of Justin Basil here, off some cards that I guess I marked, or Twitter's marked, whatever you want to call it. No, what are we doing here? Nope, wrong one, wrong. Display capture? Is that what I'm trying to do? Nope. Window capture. Twilight Masquerade. Then get rid of logo. Aha, we made it. So the first card is Thwacky, because we're going from grass to bottom. That's how the sets are ordered, is based on type. And for whatever reason, grass is first. I'm not sure why grass is first. Is that alphabetized?
No, Thwacky's a T.
No, by type.
Oh, you're talking about
no, it's not, because it's grass, fire, water, lightning, psychic, fighting. I don't know why it's grass first, but it is. So the first card we're talking about is the Thwacky. And this is the Boom Boom Drum ability. Once during your turn, if your active Pokemon has Festival Lead ability, you may search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your card. Brock, I would love to hear your opinion first on this card before I explode.
So Diplin is the one that has Festival Lead.
Correct.
So
I'm talking about just Thwacky, though.
Well, I mean, like,
I get it. It pairs together. But, like,
I was going to say, it's a whole combo-based thing. So it's like any combo-oriented, like, card ability like this that isn't, like, strong itself. Like, this doesn't have an amazing attack or anything. It doesn't add in. Doesn't even have free retreat. I don't think this is even good. Like, I mean, it's a card.
Okay. Cool. All right, so then you throw in your Diplin talk if you want to do it now. Diplin now is the Festival Lead ability, which reads, this Pokemon may use attack twice. If the first attack knocks out your opponent's Pokemon, you may attack
again. Festival Grounds is in play.
If Festival Grounds is in play. Chooses a new active Pokemon. And then it does 20 for each of your bench Pokemon, not any of your opponents involved. So just your bench Pokemon caps out at 100. And that is the main festival
Technically
leads person.
200.
No, because that's weakness. I guess I'm talking about one attack
200,
each.
yes.
One attack, 100 per attack.
And then the festival, just to like combo, like what I was saying, the festival league, festival grounds. If each Pokemon that has an energy can't be affected by special condition.
Yeah, it's a throwaway stadium. The stadium's
nothing.
bad.
There's nothing like it's the same concept. It's like nothing inherently good is about this combo. The only thing that people have said that this is good about is like it Oko Zard. Cool. Okay, there's a lot of things that Oko Zard. This is just not good. Period.
Okay. I'm about to blow Brock's mind because I'm on the complete opposite side of this train. I'm completely on the opposite side. Japan is still new to the format. They're still trying to figure these things out, right? And I get that. And this is all on paper. This is all numbers based. Okay? And we'll talk about the supporter that helps it out here later in the bug catcher collection. But the main reason why I think this deck is broken is I can search for 3 cards a turn with Thwackey. If I get 3 Thwackey in play, I can search for any 3 cards. We talk about how broken Pidgeot is. Getting 1 card per turn. That's all they do. Is find 1 card per turn with Pidgeot. And they have to rare candy into it. It's the most broken combo in the history of the game right now, tier 0 format. I can now do that 3 times a game for any card I want, put it into my hand, and there's no rare candy involved. Then, second of all, the Diplin and the Applin are one prize Pokemon. Radiant Zard is broken in Charizard because it's a 1 prize Pokemon. Well, now every Pokemon in this deck is 1 prize. Every single one. And then Diplin's attack does 100 damage per attack for 1 energy. 1 single energy. All the math leads to this deck, in my opinion, being broken. Because if I can tell you something, and we're going to talk about Dragapult here later, 200 damage on 1 attack is really good. And then I can use Thwackey for Silene, the stadium, way to recover the stadium, Roseanne's backup, and then 2 more item cards if I have 2 more Thwackey in play. It's not shut off by Iron Leaves. There's not a negative thing about this deck besides of its low HP kind of barrier from it being a single prize deck. I do think this deck has to play the Rabska that we talked about. I do. I think if you play Rabska, you can't get.
I was about to say is Applin's 40 HP.
Right. If you play the Rabska and you evolve and you use the evolution TM going second, you're in it. You're in the game.
Well, what are you like? The thing is like, what are you beating with the deck?
You beat every Roaring Moon variant. You beat every.
Which is not a real deck.
You beat every Ancient Box variant because you can OHKO them the same way you OHKO them. Yes. So it's all based on who takes the prizes.
But it's a stage 1 compared to a basic.
But I get to attack twice. If I have Defiance Band on or any type of damage modifier. I mean, but I mean, like this
is 130.
It's who goes first, right? If I go first and they're
taking the first knockout because they get the turn 2.
They might miss it though. They might. I mean, it's best of 3, dude. I get it. I understand. It literally has a decent matchup, I think, into possibly anything by it being just a 1 prizer deck. I do think Ancient Box is a better 1 prizer deck, but they have a worse Charizard matchup.
Yes.
By a big margin. A massive, massive margin. And we've all played Ancient Box where our Pokestop stinks. Well, who needs Pokestop if I could just find the 3 cards that I want off of Thwackey? Or even 2 cards. Who needs 3?
My biggest thing with something like that is like games just aren't slow enough for Thwackey to really make a difference.
Bro, it's a stage 1. Pidgeot is the best card in the game right now, and it's a rare candy card that can get de-evoed.
Yes, but the difference is you go candy, Pidgeot, candy, Zard, my whole board setup.
I go evolve, Thwackey, find, Diplin, evolve. I still have my search.
But then so every turn you're using, like, let's say you set up 3 Thwackies. Every turn you're setting up an Applin and a Diplin.
Yeah.
And searching for an energy. So you're not gaining card advantage. Yes, possibly. But what's your draw support? Are you going to play Bibarel also?
I mean, my Charizard does. Might as well. The biggest one that we'll scroll down to the trainers and get there. There's a new item card, or is it a supporter? The bug catcher thing.
I have no idea what that card is.
Okay, well then Brock's unaware. We'll just scroll to the bottom real fast. There is this bug catcher thing here. Where is it at? Bug catcher. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal any and 2 combination of grass Pokemon or grass energy you find there and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. And it's an item card. So I'm not using my Thwacky's ability to get Pokemon or energy. I'm playing 4 bug catcher sets.
Well, what happened when you get
we can go into what ifs forever, dude.
Unfair stamp to 2, and you have to actually search for every piece. I
Thwacky for research, and then I research, draw 7, and then I Thwacky a second time to get the card that I missed. It's the same reason why Pidgeot is now played with Bibarel side by side. You're going to Bibarel first, then Pidgeot for the card you don't want. Like, in concept, it's the exact same idea. And, like, I hate that people think it's a super meme. I agree it's kind of memey. It's super memey. But, like, it's literally the most broken ability ever made.
So is
people
Dungeons
hate...
Dragons.
Bro, I get it. I get it. I think it's a meme, too. But, like, that is more memey than this Thwacky thing. Like, just because it needs a Diplin in the active to use it, I get it. That's tough. Right? But, like... finding any card in your deck is the most broken ability in the format right now. And I potentially have the chance to do that 3 times a turn. 3. Like, that's disgusting.
But the fact that you're trying to set up by turn 2, set up 5 stage 1.
I'm telling you, with Bug Catcher and Buddy Buddy Poffin, it should be simple. We can just get the testing, and I can't wait to start doing it. I think it has a ton of potential. And, like, I get it. It's a meme. It's a very memey deck. And we're probably talking about it more than Brock ever thought we would. But, like,
bad.
I think it's, oh, man, it's got a chance because it knocks out anything in the format on a 2-shot, and it knocks out the 20% Charizard meta in 1 shot. Like, that's what you need. You need a deck that beats Charizard.
I just don't see how it beats Dragapult.
I mean, you 2-shot it, just like everything else. It's 1 prizer for 1 prizer. Or 1 prizer for 2 prizer.
They're destroying your bench.
I have Rapska.
You're not setting up that Rapska turn.
Dude, it's got TM Evolution. I got Bug Catcher. Bug Catcher gets me all the grass Pokemon I need. I could easily set up a Rapska. It's not tough. I just need just a hand.
Rapska is the psychic.
The one it evolves to is grass. I just bought 2 of them.
I thought it was a psychic.
I just bought 2 of them.
Because the basic's psychic, right?
There is a basic version of it being psychic, and there's a psychic Rapska in general. But the important one with the
is it grass?
Is a grass. Rapska damage prevention and images. TCG. My Googling search was not great there. Rapska with spiky, or what is it, spherical shield from the Obsidian Flames. That's Japanese. Why is that in Japanese? You're thinking of the one with Revival Blessing.
Okay.
The one that has the ability where it stops damage counters and damage to the bench is grass.
Got you.
Yes.
But, okay. I think that's enough talking about memes. No.
Dude, I can't wait to beat you with it. I'll bring it to NAIC. I'll bring it. Well, how much extra do I get for winning the whole event with meme deck? Like, are you gonna pay me 2 extra grand because I get 50? So I would get $55,000. Is what you're saying?
No, because you're gonna end up at table 1000.
No, bro, I'm telling you.
With all the other meme players.
I don't know, dude. It's probably the easiest deck to ever set up, to be honest with you. Prevent all damage and effects attacks from your opponent's base. You can't even get devoed. Moving on. We're skipping the Synestia, and unless you want to talk about it, I think that's even worse of a meme. They're bad. The Ogre Pawns. The Ogre Pawns are super cool. I'm on the wrong screen. I have to go all the way back up to the Ogre Pawns. Let's just talk about the grass one now, because we're grass ones.
I was about to say, I don't think there's a ton to talk about with the Ogre Pawns, but it's just like
no.
I just want to talk about like the mechanic. The mechanic's really, really cool.
The switching mask.
With the mask, because they can go into each other. I just think that's a really cool mechanic. I don't think the Ogre Pawns that we have right now are good. I don't think any of them are good, but I think it's a really, really cool mechanic that they're introducing.
Yeah, so the card we're alluding to is Ogre's Mask. Choose a Pokemon EX in your discard pile that has Ogre Pawn in its name, and switch it with one of your Pokemon EX in play that has Ogre Pawn in its name. Any attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, turns in play, and any other effects remain on the new Pokemon. So that's the main mechanic of it, is the Ogre's Mask, right? And so that's the cool part of it, is the Ogre's Mask. I think the only viable one for me is potentially the Cornerstone one, because it has that broken ability of anything with an ability can't damage it. And we've seen walls like this always work, right? You can play this in Lugia. You can play this in whatever you want, because it's got 1 fighting and 2 colorless as a cost. I think
the fire one is cool.
We go to the fire one.
So basically it has 2 attacks. One for one Wrathful Hearth. One times the number on the phone. That's not the one I'm interested in.
Yeah,
but that can get up to really big numbers if you play the
400,
the new Ace spec. Yeah, you can get up to 400, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah,
it OHKOs everything.
It's a tool though.
Then Dynamic Blaze. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
Dynamic Blaze. It does 280 basically if your opponent's Pokemon is evolution.
Yeah,
which if something has like 280, or it's most likely an evolution.
Yeah.
So I think this one's cool if we have something like a welder ever again.
Yeah.
But
I hate the energy.
That's the one that when I saw it, that one. Yeah, triple fires.
Triple fires.
But we still have magma base.
Yeah, but then I only have to hit for 1. Like, you're basically a Rotom at that point.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But that's what this would be to take advantage of like 2 prizes.
The main
I like this one. I'll be picking up some, but
yeah, the main mechanic is around Teal Dance on the grass Teal Ogre Pond, right? Attach as many grass energy from your hand to this Pokemon. If you attach energy in this way, you draw a card. It's basically Zatu's ability, but only to itself. I don't think it's great, but it's got a chance. We'll scroll down to the Brimstone Ogre Pond. I think the water one's not great. Maybe one day if you want to.
The water one's the worst.
And maybe one day if that 120 threshold becomes more important than the 90 off Greninja. In our current format of the game, the water one adds no value in my opinion. The fact
that you have to shuffle all 3 energies back in.
Yeah, but if you're playing if you play it in a Baxcalibur deck and not an Ogre Pond deck, you might as well just play Greninja.
Yeah. But like my biggest thing is like if that's the logic, then like how are you getting the energies back out again? It's hard to get the energies back. Yes, but how are you retreating it again?
Oh, dude, you're 210. You're getting knocked out, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It's like why would you play this over that?
That's what I'm saying. You need a 120 threshold that's important instead of a 90. Right now 90's plenty. But one day 90 could be too small.
But yes.
The Cornerstone one's the best one. Yeah, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by your opponents that have an ability. It does get beat by Roaring Moon and Ancient Box pretty heavily because nothing in that deck has an ability but Flutter Mane. But against everything else, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great card. Vulpix V won a IC last year, like with the same, but that was an attack. This is just a static ability. Everyone's got to play Canceling Clone because of this card again. So yeah, those are the Ogrepons. Mad Cargo is not good.
Nope. Infernape is a GLC card.
I do love Infernape as a design, like artwork wise, though.
I do too.
But the next one we talk about is Palafin. The Palafin stuff. That's cool. I like the Palafin stuff a lot. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon, this is on the Palafin baby version. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from the active spot to the bench, you may search your deck for a Palafin EX and switch it with this Pokemon. Any attached cards, damage counter, special conditions, turns in play, and any other effects remain on the new Pokemon. If you switch the Pokemon in this way, shuffle this card into your deck. I think this has potential. I don't know how high it will go, but the main reason of this is the Palafin EX with 340 HP. Put this Pokemon into play with the effect of Palafin 0 to hero ability. So you need to play both of the Palafins. Do you have to do a 2-2 split, or could you play 4-4? Do you know, Judge?
So I think how I would do it is,
I'm just asking, are you allowed to? Am I allowed to play 4
They're
Palafin?
2 different cards. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, then it works.
So this is Palafin, this is Palafin EX.
I know, but back in the day, you couldn't do mixed.
Yeah, you could.
I think with level X's, you couldn't. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. You couldn't play...
that I don't...
I can't
that would
remember.
make sense.
That's a long...
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because they're considered the same Pokemon because they share.
Because you couldn't... Could you play 4 Greninja and a Greninja break, or did you have to play 3 Greninja and 1 Greninja break?
You could play... Greninja break was a separate card.
They viewed it as a separate
I think
card.
that rule changed. Yeah. I think that rule changed at some point.
Either way, long story short, you could play 4-4 if you wanted to.
Yes.
And Jet Energy is super cool, and Switch Cart and all this stuff. Like, I think 250 is a great number for the Giga Impact. 1 energy hits for 250. Unfortunately, that's kind of small, right? Like, obviously 340 HP is a ton. Like, 250 doesn't knock out a ton of stuff right now. It just knocks out Chim Pao.
Yeah, but it's just so easy. But the thing is, it's so easy to attack with.
Bro, all right.
1 energy.
I'm so triggered. All right, is this easier to attack with than Diplin?
Not like they're both easy to attack with.
Okay, all right. It's just,
but
the way you were praising it had me concerned.
No. But it requires 1 energy evolving from a single stage 1.
Correct. Oh,
so this needs
retreating to the bench is the big one.
Yes, but how you're going to build the deck is the retreating to the bench is going to be irrelevant. Not irrelevant, but it's easy.
Do you think Palafin is better than Diplin Thwacky?
Yes.
But
I don't think either of them are good.
Get pooped on, bro. There's no chance. Oh no, I'm definitely bringing it to NAIC now. I can't wait.
Because the thing is like you just play this with like Scoop Up Cyclone and stuff like that, and like you're just infinitely healing.
Cool. I do think it's a cool card. I love the hero. I love the villain looking Palafin from Shining Fates or whatever it's called. It's super sick, but not for me. Control got not an upgrade, I guess is the way to word it. It's an upgrade in like 2 years when Luxray V is gone. But Luxray EX, which is a stage 2, piercing glare, 120 damage, which that's super cool, actually. I like that a lot. But your opponent reveals their hand and choose any card you find there and discard it. So this is basically Luxray V with more HP, but instead of it just being an item or instead of it just being a trainer card, it could be any card.
So I do think this is a pretty big upgrade because there is a Shinx that kind of helps the control aspect of it. There's a Shinx that says force your opponent to switch.
From what set?
That I don't know. It's legal. I know that because I looked it up the other day.
Pokecard IOing.
Card.
Search Pokemon card Shinx. Sort by
It is from Paldea Evolve. Once during your turn, if this is your active spot, you may have your opponent switch their active with one of their bench.
Now, is it the ability?
Yes, it's an ability. Big Roar.
There's the ability there. Got it on screen. Yeah, it's super cool idea. I'm not gonna lie. It's almost like the opposite of Snorlax, right? Instead of like, I don't want you in the active.
I think it
go
combos
away.
with Snorlax.
But it doesn't switch you though. You have to retreat with the Shinx and go into Snorlax.
You just play an escape.
I get where it works. Yeah.
Yep.
We don't need that.
I think it's a possibility if you're playing the big Electrike, which you just upgrade to like 4 rare candies instead of like the 2 that they're playing now because they're already playing the Pidgeot.
Sure. Yeah. But I
think it's cool.
I think I don't think it's an upgrade because to get Luxray V going is so much easier than getting Luxray EX going.
That's
just fair. Because it's a basic. But I do like the extra damage. Like this is the one control card that actually does damage.
Yes.
So we see a lot of decks right now that are control decks that play Radiant Zard. Radiant Zard's not a control card. This is a control card that, 2 shots a Lugia. Can you believe that? I mean, just in theory, right? Like that's what it is.
I was about to say if they played a choice belt, it one-shots it.
True. No, because 130. You're doing DTE. You're gonna generator to this as well.
No. Yeah, you're right. 130.
That'd be crazy. Generator, choice belt, discard,
no.
Lugia V from
bad.
hand.
That's really bad. That's bad. It one-shots the little one.
It does one-shot
with
the
choice
baby
belt.
one. Yes, it does. Moving on, we go straight to Iron Leaves, which is the better control card, or Iron Thorns.
Yeah. I think so. I'm just gonna voice my opinion. I don't think this card's as good as everyone says it is.
Thorns or
because
Luxray?
the Thorns.
Oh, I thought you were going backwards for a second. I was like, what?
No. Iron Thorns. I think it's good, but I think the only way you can play it is a 4/4. Is a 4 of like that's the only Pokemon in your deck. Or like playing it with like support cards like Iron Bundle.
Ooh, maybe. And we'll talk about. There's a list that I saw. I don't know if it was the 4/4 or just in Future Box. I think it's fine in Future Box. I kind of if you play 2 instead of
maybe.
We
might not have time to go over this.
That's fine. I think the biggest thing is just like shutting off abilities in such an ability-heavy format for Pidgeot, Charizard, Chien-Pao. Like, these abilities are needed for every deck in the... I mean, imagine not being able to Summoning Star. Like, it's just that's crazy. The ability, as long as Pokemon's in the active spot, Pokemon with the rule box in play have no abilities except future Pokemon. This is turned off with Fluttermane, though. So, that is that. I think the next card that's important to me is the Greninja. I don't think of anything else like the Scream Tail and stuff like that. It's not very good. There is another festival lead card in here that's not great. I don't like that one at all. It's like it does like 20 damage or whatever.
Yes.
I was gonna say here.
The Greninja EX is just like it's the predecessor to, or it's the Rapid Striker Shifu. It's like it can just blow people out of the water. It depends how much, because Manaphy does rotate after the next block. So I could see somewhere where like the Greninja kind of runs rampant for a little bit.
Yeah, we have Rebsco. It's fine. No, but like, on all seriousness, I think this card is it could be good. I hate how it's stage 3 or stage 2. Sorry. The 170 damage, and you search your card for deck for anything. Like I said, that ability on any card is broken. If you can search your deck for any card at any time, and it's fantastic. Unfortunately, this is tied to an attack, not an ability. Yes. So you have to do it, and then your turn ends. But and then like as the Rapid Strike Urshifu part, discard 2 energies from this Pokemon, does 120 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon that you choose. Don't apply weakness, resistance, or bench. The one card that I forgot about that's not on this tier list, the Monkey Dory, is has been picking up in play here a little bit. I've seen it in some randoms. I will go over City League results. but I've seen it in Lugia and in Dragapult. If this Pokemon has a dark energy attached to it, once during your turn, you may move up to 3 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon, from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. That ability is broken. It has a place in the format. Radiant Alakazam is a very broken card already, but imagine those damage counters now come off of your Pokemon instead of your opponent's. So I just wanted to briefly add that in there while we're talking about it. After that, I think it's just Dragapult and well, those are together, right? Like we're not gonna.
No.
So this is the big thing right now. It's trending everywhere worldwide. Dracloak and Dragapult EX. We talked about it on a pod previously, but now it's getting the play that it deserves. Barack is still you're still confused about why this is good, right?
I understand it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the more I look at it, the more I understand it.
Yeah. But it's
I still don't understand how it's almost a 30% deck over
5, 6. I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of 25. So minus, hold on here. 1, 2, and minus. So nine city leagues that happened today / yesterday were won by Dragapult. Forget the percentage, right? It just actually just won the events. I think it's because airmail's broken. Like we haven't seen an airmail type ability since Pidgeotto left, but it's absolutely insane. If I remember it correctly, they bet the ability about bro what the ability to just be able to pick and choose. Like it's imagine flower selecting, but just better because you don't lose the card the rest of the game. It just goes to the bottom of your deck.
You just don't have to switch.
Well, like, and this is my, you don't have to switch. It stays on the bench. But like, even the biggest part of this, imagine you want both cards, and one of the cards is a Pokemon, and one of them is a trainer card, and you just happen to have Ultra Ball in your hand. I'm just gonna Dracloak the Pokemon to the bottom of my deck, and then Ultra Ball for that Pokemon. Like, it's crazy good. The concern with it is the attack cost on Dragapult is 1 fire, 1 psychic. The attack is Phantom Dive for 200. Put 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like. This does go through Manaphy and Jirachi. It does not go through Rapska. So I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet in Japan. Like, where's the Rapska at? I don't know. I think you have to, dude. If it's going to be 30% of the meta, you got to play something around it. You can't ignore it.
But you're going to prize one piece of your 1/1 combo.
Hey, however many
are you prioritizing?
I don't know, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I
get your concern, but we currently, our best deck in format plays a 1/1 barrel. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
but but you don't have to have that. That's not a strategy to win the game. Like, it's a hey, I'm setting this up. You pick Pidgey or you pick Bidoof. I'm setting up one of them the next turn.
Yeah, that's I get what you're saying. But I could just Devo you. I'm Dragapult.
I mean, sure. That's
Rapska stops Devo.
Sure, but you're not. Like, are you prioritizing getting Rapska that does nothing but a bench sitter over?
I don't know yet. It's a theory.
Setting up a Bibarel.
I don't think you are. I don't think you would. But this is where not playing it in paper yet hurts. But like it's a straight swap, right? Instead of playing one Jirachi and Manaphy and Charizard, you just play the Roller and the Rapska, and that's the theory behind it, in my opinion. Because like, it's the only way to start
playing Jirachi.
I know, and like obviously it beat the Lost Box in Brazil, but I was listening to Liam Halliburton talking about his run at Orlando. He avoided Lost Box the whole day, and he thinks Sableye would have torn him apart.
No.
And like, I don't see why he's wrong. You know, I think a second
they're not built to like so.
It's nice.
Yeah. So the thing is like I've played against it, and it just doesn't like they brick like every single game. Like it takes them 2 extra turns to even do it anything. Like
what deck are we talking
I've been
about?
testing it. Like I'm testing Charizard. I'm testing the Turbo Lost Box.
Oh, you're okay. There we go. So you're testing Lost Box into Charizard.
Like now.
Yes. Okay. I understand.
And like Lost Box isn't doing anything. So like you don't need the Jirachi. But yeah. Anyways. That's the easy choice is just to put the 1/1 Rhapsody in there, but like I don't feel like it's worth it. There has to be something different than that.
If you search Bench Barrier or the type of those are the only 3 cards in the format is Manaphy, Jirachi.
I'm talking about there has to be some better kind of counter other than yes, that's what I'm saying. Is like I don't what that is. I don't know. Maybe it's just Lost City because they're only playing 2 big Dragapult, so you just kill both of them.
Yeah, it depends on the version of Dragapult. We'll save City Watch for next week after Indy and whatnot, but it's running the format in Japan. This past weekend, it was 23% of 824 players in all city leagues from the 26th to the 28th. Like it is everywhere. And the big thing that stands out to me, and I'm showing the graphic from Twitter right now, is Charizard is only at 10%. And I'm assuming that's because Lugia has the new tools of Blood Moon or Saluna and whatnot, which we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, Charizard's 10% and whatnot. Like it's gonna be a really weird time in the game. Blissey's cool. We don't have to talk about
being very good.
Yeah, because it loses to Diplin. Next on, and then Blissey's cool. Still stage 2 though. Stage 1 technically. Don't really need to talk about it.
Oh, that's really weird.
The big card that everyone talks about that's playable in every deck is Blood Moon or Saluna. This is basically a better version of Radiant Charizard that Radiant Charizard can't knock out unless you have a tool on it. Defiance Band, Vitality Band, whatever. I guess you could technically knock it out with a Max Belt, right? Like that's in the discussion if you still play Max Belt or not. But the ability is a Pokemon's Blood Moon. A Pokemon's Blood Moon attack costs 1 colorless less for each prize card your opponent has taken. And then Blood Moon is 240 during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon can't attack. So it's basically a direct reprint of Charizard. And it's really good. Like this makes Lost Box good. And I mean, imagine being able to play Greninja and Radiant Zard in a deck. Well, now you can after this format. It's really good in Lugia, right? You only need 1 or 2 colorless energies for a late game attacker to do 240. Especially if they already got both your Archeops, which is a common trend right now. Like you only need to attach a double turbo energy and swing for 220. This card's really good and it can fit in anything.
Yeah, it's the best card in this set. I think I don't even think it's close in my opinion. Singular card. I think the combo of the Dracloak and Dragapult is probably like the best deck for coming out with the deck like singular like card inclusion. Like I think it's.
And I get what you're saying. Like the big thing is, Blood Moon Ursaluna is the best card in this set. Dragapult and Dracloak are the best archetype of this set. That's the best way to put it. It's the best wording to use it.
Exactly.
And then some of the important trainers.
It's gonna be in everything.
Yeah, every single.
Pick you one up as soon as the second.
We could even play it in Dragapult.
Yeah.
So a couple main trainers. We talked about the Bug Catcher set. Super good, and whatever you want it to be.
I will agree with that.
It is a super good card for it being an item, right? You can play 4 Buddy Buddy Puffin, 4 Bug Catcher sets. If you're playing a grass deck, it's very good. Even like Toad Scroll or like any Fortress EX Mimi deck, whatever you want to call it, dude. Like those things would kill for a Bug Catcher set right now. Caretaker's not great. Carmen's cool. It's kind of like Lily.
Is that the one that draws and you can use it turn 1?
Yeah, if you go first, you play this card during your first turn, discard your hand, draw 5 cards. And then it's not Lily, right?
Basically,
Lily was broken.
The only deck I've seen with it is it makes Lugia very good post rotation.
I think it does too, because you can play this, play 4 Pokegear, get a Carmen, dump your hand.
You just play 2 Lumineons now.
I mean, that's also that's fine too. Community Center, not good. Heal damage from all Pokemon if you put a supporter this turn. Cook's back, Enhanced Hammer's back. Nothing crazy with those 2 cards, but Enhanced Hammer's cool because of all the new special energy coming out. It'll be needed.
Yep. Hammer's very good.
Hammer's good. It's better than playing a 1 of Mawile in your Dungeons and Dragons deck. Fable Flute is the next control card we're talking about. Reveal the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, and put any number of basic Pokemon you find there on your opponent's bench. Your opponent shuffles the other cards back into their deck. This is a better Echoing Horn.
It's a more random Echoing Horn.
I think it's better. Because the problem with this now, technically in control, you can play Mantine and Flute, and then a control deck will have a way to get Mantine and Flute back. So basically, unless your Pokemon are in the Lost Zone, there is no safe space for it against control. What this means. Do I think this card's good? It's not great. It's very balanced for being a broken control card. It's not like Eerie or anything like that. But the fact that you can do this, and then you also still have Erica's Invitation, and you still have Mantine to get stuff out of it. There's not a safe space on the board for any control Pokemon you want to avoid at all, ever. None. It stinks.
Yeah, I just think Mantine's bad. So I
do too, but technically, if my win con is Greninja, I'm just gonna Greninja back Mantine.
Exactly.
Kind of catch her up.
It's
a win con. It's a win out.
Yep.
Festival Grounds we talked about a little bit. This does nothing besides blank stadium.
Yep. Basically.
If any of my Pokemon that have that ability had a special condition on it, they just die. If they're poisoned or burned, they're just knocked out. It doesn't matter. Why is this the stadium?
It's just the combo piece.
I understand, but it could have done something different. It could.
Yep.
Hand circulator's cool. The control decks are playing Bouffalant for this exact same reason right now. It's a whole.
But his Lost Zones it. That's the thing.
But I could just throw this on a Cleffa or throw it on a Barrel. It's the same concept.
But then it's not gone. It's not gone.
You're gonna turtle up your Barrel for energy.
That's how you beat the matchup with Old Guardy.
This isn't Gardevoir though. I mean, we're talking.
That's what I'm saying is it's still you can still access it. With the Bouffalant, it's gone.
I've seen this in Dragapult lists. Just to make because
Dragapult, I can see it in something like Dragapult. I can see, but I don't see this in a control deck.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. And it's one of those things.
Dragapult, it makes sense.
It affects things in a long-term thing for decks that have struggle finding energy. This would be good against Zard if they didn't play as many Turos as they do now.
Exactly. Yeah, they play 2 Turos.
Yeah, and maybe we're going to that place where, the control is coming back and Zard goes back. I don't know. We'll see. Hassle's not good. Look at the top 3 cards. Top 8 cards of your deck, put 3 of them in your hand, shuffle your deck, whatever. It's only if someone was knocked out. The interesting one that's left is Jamming Tower. I love this card a lot.
Yeah. It's literally Lysander's Lab.
It's just no tool cards in play have effects. So
we have a ton of good tool cards.
Yeah, dude, imagine not being able to start Alchemy as Charizard.
Imagine only being 140 HP.
Imagine only being 140 HP Roaring Moon. God, wouldn't that be terrible? It's garbage. Kieran is one of these weird pick option supporters. I do like it's a switch card.
It's seeing some play in Zard.
It's seeing some play in Zard because it does 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon EX or V. So imagine Grant, but for everything that has a rule box besides Radiance. right? So EXs and Vs. I love how it does affect Vs because max belt only affects EXs. That feels terrible. Lana's Curse, not good. It's basically poor person's Clara. Yes. It's like I get the Clara part right. Yeah.
Sorry,
Lucian's bad. Reminds me of Team Galactic. You remember that card? Team Galactic's Research or something like that, where you played rock, paper, scissors?
It's awful. Yeah, it's awful.
Terrible card.
Lucky
Helmet.
Seeing play, sadly, though.
Control, baby. If Lucky Helmet is back, your opponent's damage, draw 2 cards. That's cool. Parent is basically a supporter version of Pokemon Communications. It's like reveal 2 Pokemon, get 2 different Pokemon back out of your deck. I don't like it. I'm surprised. I haven't looked at Lugia lists eternally, but this Rhyfort card might be an inclusion now. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may discard any number of cards you find there and put them other cards back in any order. So, like, if you could...
So you have to draw cards with Lugia. Like, the thing is, like, this would be really good.
This is basically a poor version of Professor Burnett, right? It's a very, very poor version of Professor Burnett. But it does discard the top 5 cards of your deck if you want it to. You can literally look at all 5. You can look at
Surges.
Oh yeah, Lieutenant Surge's strategy or whatever. Play 3 supporters.
You play crypto than this. That would be good.
That'd be broken. You literally can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, discard all 5, and then just keep going. It could work. Yeah. The A-Specs, real quick.
Scoop Up Cyclone.
Scoop Up Cyclone, super cool. Secret Box, we talked about last week. Could work in multiple different things. I think the cost is too high, but that's just me. Survival Brace from Crimson Haze. We didn't talk about this. If your opponent's attack has full HP and would be knocked out from an attack, your opponent's Pokemon that Pokemon is not knocked out and his remaining HP is 10, then discard this card. I don't think it's good. It's like a poor Life Dew, which we will talk about Life Dew here in a second. Unfair Stamp. This is the broken one. This is it right here. For anybody who hates the format, this is what changes it right here. You can play this card only if one of your other Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck, then you draw 5 cards and your opponent draws 2. Why this is bad, in my opinion, it basically, anything that was like 50-50 or 60-40 into Zard, by getting that first knockout on a baby Charmander, baby Pidgey, Bidoof, whatever, now just auto loses now. Like Roaring Moon to Dunsparce is probably out of the format forever once these cards hit. In my humble opinion, I really do. I love Duns and Dragons. I think in a month's time, we'll never see it again. Because of Unfair Stamp, because of these certain types of cards in this format, like the Dragapult EX just does 200 damage. Like, that's just unheard of. Like, it just removes Moon from the map. And so, like, but because of Unfair Stamp, there's a bigger barrier of entry now. And it's just so much higher. And then the special energies. Do you have any thoughts on Unfair Stamp? I kind of before I move on. That's pretty.
I think it's broken. I think it's going to see play in every top level deck.
Yeah, anyone that doesn't need Prime Catcher, right? Like, I still think Prime Catcher is better in certain stuff. Like, I think Prime Catcher is better in Chin-Pao.
Yeah. Yes, but Chin-Pao, I think, is not great next format.
Yeah, the Unfair Stamp before Bidoof is down is massive.
Yeah.
Yep, and it almost forces decks to not take knockouts before the board is established, which gives decks like Charizard more
and Dragapult
more leeway. It'll be a $30 to $45 A spec as soon as it drops.
I don't think it's gonna be that high. I mean, like, that's how Prime Catcher was.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I mean, I paid $28 for my Prime Catcher. Like,
I pulled 4 of them.
As well, go back to your shanty. Boomerang Energy. We used to have this in. Oh God, it was Recycle Energy or
no, it's different.
No, there was a different energy that did this prior.
No, recycle energy was if this card gets discarded in any way,
it goes back to
including
your
knocked
hand.
out,
Yeah.
it goes back to your hand, yes. But we have never had a card like this.
Oh gosh, I think we have, dude.
I never saw play.
What's the fire energy called? Burning energy?
Sure.
If this card is, yep, there it is. If this card is discarded by an attack of the fire Pokemon this card is attached to, attach this card from your discard pile to that Pokemon after attacking. Burning energy from Breakthrough. X, Y, and Z. I guess it's just X, Y. But burning energy. Literally almost a direct reprint. But it's colorless. So super cool. Like, I mean, like, it didn't have... Burning energy wasn't great because that's prior to Welder and stuff. Welder and Friends, but I think Burning Energy was. I mean, this is my in between stages of Pokemon.
It never saw play.
Was Blacephalon out yet?
No, Blacephalon was like towards the end of or the middle of Sun and Moon block.
Oh yeah, so it was way gone. Way gone. I thought it might have been. I had a
but also this
chance of overlapping.
Also, this is discarded, not sent to the Lost Zone. No, Blacephalon sent to the Lost Zone.
Oh, true. You're right. But yeah, this is just Boomerang's the same thing but colorless. The main special energy from this set that's not Neo Upper Energy, Legacy Energy. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, I don't know what else it would be attached to. It provides every type of energy, but provides only one energy at a time. So it's Rainbow Energy. Here's the broken part. Once per game, if this Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, your opponent takes one fewer prize card. And that's why we mentioned Life Dew earlier in the pod, because Life Dew is the same thing, except for it was a tool card, not a Rainbow Rare Energy. I think this is instantly the A-Spec for Lugia. Just obviously the effect of one less prize card per game goes away after the first time. That's not restackable, but the Rainbow Energy lasts forever. So this allows Lugia to play the Cornerstone Ogerpon. It allows them to play other random... They can play Iron Hands. They can play the Wellspring Mask. They can play whatever they want now. Because they can just keep recycling the special energy with Silene or Roseanne's backup or whatever. But it gives them extra outs to better attackers, which is super cool.
Yep. I think it's real good.
It's really good. I think it's really, really good. We're going to do City Lock next week because I think there's another round of City Leagues next week. But a quick peruse of the meta, like we showed earlier, Dragapult's at 24%. It's nuts out here for Dragapult. It won 9 out of the 25 tournaments yesterday, 23 tournaments yesterday. And there's 3 different versions. And there's the Charizard EX one where it uses Charizard EX to accelerate fire energies into play. Also, Charizard's just a big attacker. There's
at the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the game, after countless turtles and whatnot. There's the Xatu version, which is my least favorite. I think Airmail is enough. Xatu seems clunky. There's also the Lost Zone box version, where you're just playing it with Mirage Gates. Any thoughts? Favorite decks going into the new format?
To be honest, I'm really liking, I just pulled up on Limitless, one of the Lugia lists, and I actually really like...
From Tokyo? The top one?
Yeah. I think so.
Does it have Minchino in it?
Yeah, the first place Tokyo one.
Yeah, with the Wellspring Mask and the Blood Lunar Saluna.
Yep. It looks really cool. With 2 of the new chick that you can discard your hand turn 1.
I think it's Moffat. You see Moffat's version of it?
No.
Let's see if I can find Nicholas Moffat. Nick Moffat. That's not Nick Moffat. Did I like the tweet? He posted a list of Lugia that I loved, and it didn't involve any Minchino in it. Nope, I lost it. I don't have it. It's fine. But it's basically this same list, except for you cut the Cinchinos and Minchinos for a Wellspring, or for a Cornerstone a Radiant Zard, and there was another attacker he had in there. But you could basically survive without any of the Chinchino. I agree, Chinchino's a good attacker, but it's inherently slower than an EX that just needs a rainbow energy. I do wish Luminous Energy was better, dude. Like, it makes me so mad that Luminous Energy is just terrible. But obviously, after being scarred from prior Lugia formats, they didn't want to make Luminous Energy broken. So I get it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's you got to be careful with whatever rainbow energy you print nowadays. But
yeah, for sure.
That's probably the one deck that I'm interested in post rotation.
And then you kind of mentioned it prior. I think it's before we started recording. The Iron Thorns, the 4 of control deck of Iron Thorns, is here. It's here to stay. Let me scroll up. I'll make my camera a little bit smaller.
4 Arven, 4 Judge, 4 Boss, 3 Ono,
yeah,
3 Eerie.
It's gross. It won a City League. Plays Turbo Energize as well, so like it can go second.
This is gross.
Turbo Energize to itself, and then doesn't even need the Baby Miraidon. It just uses Energize.
This looks awful.
It looks. I miss Snorlax control already. Because you're hitting 140. Like, it's not like you're doing nothing. You know what I mean? And they also play the Calamitous Wasteland, and it's literally only 4 Pokemon. You can give your opponent as many mulligans as you want, but if you're
my biggest thing with this is like we already have a card in the format that kind of counters this. If this ever gets really big, is just canceling Clown
or Fluttermane.
Yeah, but Fluttermane shuts you off too, right?
Only when it's active. So no, it's only. Oh god, this is where my.
But then you can't use your abilities.
I still think you can use your own. I think it's just your opponent's. Fluttermane. Image.
As long as this is interactive, yeah, it's just your opponent.
Yeah, it's just your opponent's ability. No, you're fine.
So the like you just play a 1 of Fluttermane.
Yeah, 1 off Fluttermane turns it off. Trying to find the English version of it. I closed my IO account. Yeah, as long
as gross. There's a expanded version of Iron Thorns. It just looks gross.
Yeah, there was an expanded tournament over the weekend as well in Japan. A lot of people in that. I highly recommend Pokebuck, however you want to call it, POKECA_book for all the Japan lists going around. There's Tina lists with like Blood Moon or Saluna in it. There's a Miraidon list that won a City League. Shen Pao is still doing well, winning a league. There's a control list here that is it has Radiant Zard and Blood Moon Ursaluna in it. It's basically Pidgeot control plus 2 attackers now instead of 1. And also still plays the Luxray in it and the Cornerstone Mask. So a lot of stuff going on in a lot of these decks in Japan. And it's going to be exciting. Like I said, I just wish we had a week to practice before NAIC. Any closing thoughts, Brock, as we wrap up, as we spent way too long enjoying new cards? I love talking new cards and talking in theory.
Not much. I'm going to Indy this weekend.
Oh, we could do that real quick as well. Yeah, we might as well. We'll make it 2 separate videos. You're going to Indy.
Yeah.
What's the thought? Charizard?
I'm playing Charizard.
Shocker.
I'm playing Rowan Stavenel's Charizard list. It's pretty generic.
Is that the Lecky one?
No. It very generic list. It's playing 3 bosses orders.
Rowan. What tournament?
It's just something he posted on his Twitter.
Damn it! It just went to Limitless.
So it's basically just it's towards lists, but he instead of the 3rd Yell's Cheer, he's playing the Yell's Cheer. He's playing a 3rd boss.
Spell his last name.
STAV.
Got it. Stevenal. The one BDIF optimal list.
I believe so.
Here it is.
He has 2 mats like on it.
Yeah,
like
2 champion match.
Yeah.
Raging Bolt. Don't disrespect the giraffe like that, dude.
So basically the only changes he made was that, and then he cut the Stellar Wish Jirachi for the 70 damage Charmeleon.
He cut
which I'm a big fan of.
He also cut Team Yell's cheer for
a third boss. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the 2 changes.
He's only playing 6 energy though. I hate how that's just normal now. Fine. If you tell any other deck to just play 6 energy, you're gonna have a terrible time. Like, how is this allowed? How?
Because it accelerates through.
It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Tier 0 format.
That's why the deck's kind of hard to play now. Yeah. At a high level.
Yeah, because everything, it's just such a... Obviously, there's gaps in the mirrors, right? But, like, to play a Charizard list optimally is very simple. But to win mirrors...
Not optimally.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's win mirrors and play... I guess not for everybody, right? But if you want to invest time into a Charizard list, it's much easier to play it optimally in a week than it was previously.
No, it's harder now than.
You think it's harder?
Yes.
I found it easier, to be honest.
Because you have to know how to play the mirror. That's what I'm saying.
The mirror is a whole.
Due to the meta, I think it's harder to play.
The mirror thing is the different story, in my opinion. But to play it optimally is pretty simple.
Well, I mean, 25% of the room, you have to play optimally against the mirror.
I agree. I get what you're saying. I don't count the mirror because that's a different thing. Because if you're just going to locals and you want to play Charizard optimally, that's pretty simple. Playing the mirror optimally is very difficult. There's so many things that your opponent could have or could not have. And that's a different ballgame.
You just kill Cleffa with your Charmander turn 1. That's how you win the mirror.
That's how you win the mirror. You know what? Just lucky for whatever card.
I'm being dead serious. If you think I'm kidding, I'm not. I'm probably sure.
Power to you. I mean,
your boss kill Bibarel turn 2.
I mean, it is a line. It is a line.
You go back even.
There's a line through that leads you to winning. That is true. Not the only way to win, but it is a very optimal line. All right.
But yeah.
So Indy's gonna be cool. Charizard. Almost 3,000 people.
Yep.
You flying out? When you flying?
No, I'm driving.
Oh, there you go. So you leaving on Thursday?
Yeah. Thursday or no. Yeah, Thursday night.
Well, either way, drive safe. Thank you for doing this Twilight Masquerade preview. And then we're going to all just be playing this format on live and in person during LA. So I think this is the last real regional in this format that people will gravitate towards. Will Charizard win 5 in a row?
So my thought is yes, just because there's not a deck that I feel like beats it enough for me to say no. And also, I think Charizard's going to break 30%.
Yeah, I think it will too. I think Charizard breaks 30%. How many in top? Let's go 16. 10?
No, I think it's going to be 8.
I'll stick with 10.
10?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if I see 10, I'm not going to be surprised. But, like, I think there's going to be some weird decks that sneak in.
Yeah. Shout out Diplin for ruining the Charizard meta. I appreciate Diplin so much. And we will see you guys after Indy. Peace.
See you.